I haven't lost in like a month. Awesome. I'm Jason.
Welcome to Books We Never Read. He's Jason and I'm Nicole, and this is episode 19 of Books We Never Read, where we talk about chapters 6 through 10 of Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman.
Except for those we have.
It's a winner. Before we get into this episode, no, it's great. You can win rock, paper, scissors all day, but I know how to do the intro. Before we get into the video, please make sure this is the video you actually want to watch, because we talk about the book as if you've read up to this point. So check out our playlist to see the other books that we've read and the other episodes for Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman if you need to get caught up. We're happy to have you here. Comment in the comments box. Tell us what you think about what you're reading. That's our favorite part. I mean, we still have people on our first videos uploading new comments and their ideas and the things that they understood that we misunderstood, and we love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And what my favorite part about this, actually, that I didn't really anticipate, is those books stay alive now for us. You know, I'm very much like kind of read and forget. Like, I'll remember that I liked it, but I won't really remember why I liked it or what happened in the book. But this is forcing me to, sometimes to respond to some of the comments, I have to go back to the book and see, like, what were we talking about and who was that character's name? And so this has really been keeping it alive for me.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. I've greatly enjoyed talking to all these people from China about three-body problem and sort of their understanding of it and the things that got lost in translation. I've really enjoyed that.
Well, it's just like how when we read West with Giraffes, you know, you're familiar with a lot of that time period in history, and so you had all this extra connotation into what you were reading. So there's a lot of, you know, cultural things that we missed because it's just not what we're familiar with.
Yeah.
And so that's so much fun, just to be able to hear other perspectives. That's the whole point of a book club.
Yeah. Not related to Anansi Boys, but if you read Three Body Problem and you are not aware, Tencent just came out with their Three Body Problem series. It is on YouTube. At least the first episode is free, maybe more. I'm not sure about that. I haven't checked because
I don't understand how Tencent works yet.
But you can get them on YouTube, and so you can check that out.
Yeah. So we'll watch and we'll post some videos talking about it at some point.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, but our current book.
So back to Anansi Boys, chapters 6 through 10. Oh my goodness, I'm shedding like crazy. I'm losing all my hair.
Yeah, wow. Anansi Boys.
Okay, so I'm so glad that we picked this book.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it so
good.
much. I was talking to my mom on the phone last week, and she was talking about just how tickled she gets over this book. And I was like, well, I'm glad you like it. And she's like, well, I don't like it. I'm like, well, I'm glad you're entertained by it. I can understand why you wouldn't know if you like it or not. It's so odd.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite parts about it is one of the odd parts, and it's the asides that, and we talked about this a little bit last week, but just we've learned so much about Graham Coates sometimes, like when he's just like in his office by himself, and our narrator, who's more or less Fat Charlie, is not there, but we just get to be there to watch Graham Coates be a psychopath by himself.
We have an omniscient narrator. Right. Yeah, they can see inside of anyone's mind at any given time. But, which I love that, and we don't see that very often. So yeah, we're learning so much about Graham Coates and Maeve Livingston or Livingstone, I don't remember.
And Daisy's back from
Daisy.
last week, yeah.
There was a thing, like an aside about her. I was like, why was this shared?
Was it about her parents?
Well, gosh, that was so much information about
There
her
was
parents.
so much information.
And then all that you really need to know about Daisy is that her song is "Evildoers Beware."
I don't know that song.
That was just it. Everyone has their own song.
Okay.
That was like the narrator kind of stopped for a minute, and they were like, "So by the way, everybody has their own song."
Okay.
And Daisy's song is "Evildoers Beware." And it's so we talked last week about how songs and singing is very important somehow, and we're not quite sure how yet, but we know that Anansi he loved his karaoke and his singing. There has
Fat
to
Charlie's
be
good at singing.
power there.
Yeah.
And so for that little aside to come up about everyone does have their own song and they don't quite know all the words or the tune to it.
Right.
But you'll catch them singing it to themselves every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, all you need to know about Daisy is that that's her song.
Interesting. So, but that's actually one of my notes is there are so many side characters that and we picked an arbitrary place to stop. I understand that, but
oh yeah, we'll go all over the place.
We picked an arbitrary place to stop in the book.
Gotcha. Sorry.
And so there's no reason for that to have been like the end of anything. But I really wasn't sure that some of these side characters were coming back. Daisy, Graham Coates in particular. And Daisy might still just be around as like the new love interest since Rosie is out of the picture. She's not, right? Like there's no way. Yeah. But Graham Coates is still in the picture at the end of chapter 10. And he's in a different country now. Like and so my question is why?
And now Maeve is in our story.
Right. Yeah, as a dead person.
Yeah.
And so there's some I don't see where those two storylines are going.
Right.
But they must be central to Fat Charlie and Spider's story. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand how yet.
I had started kind of mapping out where our characters are, our character groups are now. And so, and what that's trying to figure out again, like how they're connected, how they're going to intertwine, and what it's going to mean for us. We've got Rosie and her mom, who were on a cruise, now called. Oh, the new name is something stupid. The boat had like an infamous bout of, tummy disease or something like that, and so they renamed the boat by someone who wasn't a real good like native English speaker, and so the new ship name had the same initials, but it was something weird. There's so many details in this book. You just can't keep up with all of it. Daisy and Carol, they're fraud squad, right? And why do we know about Carol's blog?
Yeah, that was weird. But I'm just fleshing out characters.
Yeah, and the Anansi boys, who have apparently given up their bloodline. Yeah. To get rid of. Well,
Spider. And they have to get the feather back. But Rosie's mom has it? No. The lady in Florida has it. Yeah, that's it.
Miss Dunwitty.
Miss Dunwitty has it, yeah.
Yeah, we've got Higgler and Company, is what I call them. The three witches, basically. The three sisters. I think it's interesting, Miss Higgler's described as smelling like violets. Dunwitty is described with her pine-scented hard toilet paper. What's up with these smells?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Graham Coates and Maeve, and the beginning of the world. We have that whole thing. So we're really seeing, in this part of the book, the intersection between reality and
the supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, talk about like where everybody is. That scene where they go, where Fat Charlie goes to the caves was really interesting. And you had caught that before in our previous reading. Where they had just made this whole thing like there are mountains between the worlds, and in those mountains there are caves, right?
And people still live in the caves.
People still live in the caves, and then we get to go there and see them all. And so that was a cool scene. For me, it kind of dragged on a little bit because it was just like failure after failure after failure. And honestly, I don't much care for Monkey, so I wanted Monkey to go away. But that was really cool how that tied in with a hint that we were given in our first reading.
Yeah.
So there are more hints. I know it.
We met Tiger.
Yeah.
We met Hyena.
We met all kind of stuff.
Crocodile.
Hippo.
Yeah. What does it mean to give away his bloodline?
I don't know. Like, what if it's... I don't know. Like, maybe it just means they all die now. Maybe it means that the bird god gets the powers of Anansi.
All the stories become hers?
Yeah. Maybe.
And we got the story about Bird and Anansi. And we also saw right there at the end of 10 where she's revealed that she's taking care of this business for someone else.
For somebody else. So that's another one of my notes is this comes only a few pages after Fat Charlie says, "What if Dad is still alive?" And I don't know. Maybe the bird is so either the bird is hired by Tiger, right? Like that's an option to try to get justice for Tiger, or it's like Anansi, and he's trying to teach his sons a lesson by this or something. I don't know.
So in the first part of our reading, we had what seemed to be very significant dad dreams.
Mm-hmm.
The starfish,
Mm-hmm.
when you cut it, they've each formed their own starfish, which we feel like is important. There's a couple of references again to them maybe being the same person.
Mm-hmm.
When they describe, when Spider describes why he cannot go near Miss Higgins or Miss Dunwoody, one or the other, because he broke her garden orb.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie says, "Oh, I did that too."
Yeah.
And Spider says, "That all happened at the same time, and that's when this all began."
Right.
But, like, he didn't finish it.
Mm-hmm. There's also...
and she sent him away. That's why Spider can't, be near her.
There's something, I think, too, that with... Fat Charlie is becoming more lucky, and Spider is having trouble with his powers, where he couldn't convince Rosie or her mom of things at some point, right?
That's true. Yeah, Rosie's kind of wore off.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought maybe he couldn't convince Rosie's mom because Rosie's mom's got a little something magical going on too.
So Rosie's mom is so sure of her own reality, or whatever that sentence was. Right? It was really great, but I think there's something to that, right? Like there's there's a balance of power here, and it doesn't have to be balanced. It can be totally unbalanced, but maybe it's rebalancing. Fat Charlie was the unlucky one. Spider was the lucky one, or the one with powers, one without, and maybe there are.
Did you notice that dead Maeve, when she looked at Fat Charlie, saw shadows lingering near him, around him, and not quite approaching him.
Interesting.
But hanging back around him.
I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah. Something.
Mm-hmm.
So we did have one huge dream, and that was in chapter 6, in which Fat Charlie fails to get home even by taxi. I love the names of these chapters.
That was a very frustrating chapter as well.
There was a wedding, and the people at table H were wielding guns and white flags, and Rosie was in a wedding dress, and Rosie's mom was in a wedding dress that was dusty and cobwebby. There was a cake and a band playing a New Orleans funeral march, and the chef's assistant was a police officer. There were barnyard animals singing Disney songs, and he was getting nervous about having to sing along. And he was like, "I can't sing along right now. I have to cut this cake." And Rosie's mom hands him a rusty machete, and he cuts through the cake, and a bunch of spiders come out of it. And the chef was Graham Coates.
Yep. I'm sure there's some hints in there somewhere.
Yeah,
but
I was really trying to crack the code.
But there's also just a lot of garbage, I'm sure, right? Like
it's just him processing all the weird stuff he's going through.
But yeah, that was a wild dream, and that was a long, like when you say it was a long dream sequence, it was. I read that when I didn't listen to it, and it was like 15 pages. It was really long. Yeah. I don't know. I think you might be onto something with Rosie's mom. I don't know. Like, what if she's just the most muggliest muggle, and I don't know.
She's Petunia,
and so therefore immune to it all.
Yeah, maybe. But when the dream was talking about the chef, it made me think of Rosie's dad. He had been a chef credited with bringing Caribbean food to Florida or America or something. To me, that just sounds like there's shenanigans, magical shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Maybe so.
Like, what if Rosie's dad's really a Nazi?
Yeah. We have this, maybe. But so the point is, like, I think what we're seeing is a web being woven, right? And that's
very a Nazi.
I don't see a way that we get to the end of this book and find out that, like, somehow this wasn't all orchestrated by a Nazi force, and like maybe not even for a good reason. Maybe, maybe what he's doing is tricking somebody. Maybe he's tricking the bird. Maybe he's tricking Spider into giving him back some of his power. I don't know, but like there's no. We haven't got a story yet where a Nazi did something for unselfish reasons. So I'm going to take back anything I said earlier about maybe he's teaching his sons a lesson or something like that. A Nazi is doing this for his own benefit. The question is what?
Yeah.
And we may not know, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't wait to keep reading. Can't wait to finish this.
So can we talk about Graham Coates murdering Maeve? Just out of like semi-nowhere. He just killed her. And then it was like, I don't really feel that crazy about it. And then stuck her in a closet and left.
And like, when can I get to do that again?
Yeah. He ain't alright.
No. I loved the detail of when she was looking at the pendant and saw his reflection like wielding that hammer up. And that's how she saw that it was
Well, and I love that he missed. Like, he didn't even get her. And so he had to like go, like, he's just kind of a buffoon, right? But he's always getting away with things. I mean, he's gotten away with stealing millions of pounds from this woman for years. But he's not like really getting away with it. And he's not doing it cleverly. It's just, when people aren't watching, then that's when he does his best work.
And he's been prepared to dip out for a very long time.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's a solid plan. So.
Oh, he's so horrible.
Yeah.
I like. Sorry, we're just bouncing all over the place. I just wrote down things I like. I love Miss Higgler so much. I love her giant coffee cup that she just holds in her lap while she's driving. I love.
He said we can't get there in time. She said, "Not the way I drive."
I'm not at my best before I have my coffee.
Yeah,
I feel that.
Yeah, I in my head I could imagine like the Florida roadway they were going down.
I loved the description of Orlando as he flew in and she was driving him around. I thought it was all so just accurate and realistic, except the fact that he was relieved to feel the Orlando heat.
No thanks.
Get out of town. That is the humidest, muggiest, most oppressive, prickly heat.
Yeah.
There's nothing pleasant about that. Nobody likes it.
Yeah, fair enough.
That was the only inaccurate thing I take issue with, Mr. Gaiman, sir. Love your book. If you're watching.
Hi.
Huge fan.
The place descriptions I think have been a lot of fun, and
yeah,
and there was a comment in here somewhere like places have their own stories and personalities and things, and that's really come out as well. I think
the room,
yeah,
the spare bedroom
when he gets attacked by flamingos. So flamingos don't have pink eyes, but the eyes are said to be pink, and I don't think they have pink eyes.
Maybe these did.
Yeah, but they're like 6 foot tall or something. It's terrifying.
That was crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. And okay, so there's this huge transformation in this chunk of chapter 6 through 10. Chapter 6, Spider definitely has to go. Right? He has slept with Rosie.
Yeah.
It's really bad. He's being pretty horrible. He's being asked to leave, and he's like, "Oh, I like it here." I mean, just really being horrible. To chapter 10. Where Fat Charlie straight up tells the bird woman, "Take me instead."
Yeah, I don't feel like that redemption arc is earned, right? Like,
where did it?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, it's just it's an allies of convenience sort of situation, right? Like, Fat Charlie has nobody else. He's scared. Spider is more used to this sort of thing, so like that's your ally now. But like, Spider is still a despicable person, right? Like nothing has changed here.
Except that he does really seem to love Rosie.
That's great. Not his business.
And he felt a little guilty.
Yeah. Look, honestly, I'm cool with him and Rosie because I much rather Fat Charlie end up with Daisy. So like, whatever.
Oh, you think they're a better match?
I think it's very obvious that they're a better match. I don't respect any love that Spider has for anybody because he's like Jedi mind tricked them into loving him.
But he did have a whole section there about how he could Jedi mind trick her into loving him, but that he knows that there would always be some slight resentment that she wouldn't know she felt, but she'd feel, and he wanted it to be real.
Yeah, but that might be
Jedi mind tricked.
But having tricked her into loving him at all would be better than her not loving him at all, right? Like, just because today in chapter 10 he feels like he shouldn't do it doesn't mean that he won't in chapter 11.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
it's been like fickle. 2 days. Yeah.
I don't see that he's changed his ways. He just is who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But it also still makes me think that just maybe they are the same person. And he has all the mischief and all the...
Yeah. I definitely buy into that theory.
And Charlie has all the vanilla.
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely buy into that.
Spider has all the Tabasco.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie has all the vanilla. Only Tabasco in your
Please
ice
don't
cream?
mix Tabasco and vanilla.
Tabasco ice cream is good.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Put Tabasco on anything. We don't have to talk about it.
Like a cut?
Oh, spicy. Oh, look how many notes I have.
Yeah, mine's sparse.
Gosh, so chapter 7 was the description of Orlando. I even made a note, the heat. So chapter 7 is where our fantastical and real worlds really start to mingle. Mm-hmm. There was one part of it where it said it was whatever time where Graham Coates was, and it was 7 a.m. in Florida. And we also had Carol and Daisy doing their thing, and it said no matter what time it was the witching hour.
Right. I like that. Yeah.
That was
well,
so
it's very similar to it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
Kind of concept.
But it was the witching hour, and that's when the three sisters start throwing their Italian seasoning in their potions.
My favorite part of their spell was that they couldn't find black candles, so they used penguins.
Oh, I didn't. Oh my gosh.
They used like tiny little penguin candles, and so whenever Fat Charlie comes back from the other world or whatever, he makes a note that he had been gone long enough for one of the penguins to not have a head anymore because it had melted away.
I totally missed that. Oh, that's disappointing. And so yeah, the three women are very much like, you know, it's about the essence of the item, right? Like we can use some basil instead of dried herbs, and you know, like whatever we need to do.
Mm-hmm. That was the thing, right? Because the candle was black and white because it was a penguin,
right?
And not all black. But that's all they had.
That's what they had. You gotta work with what you got. I do keep looking up name meanings for Dunwoody, Higgler, and Knowles. Okay. I don't know. I really thought there would be something there, but there's not. There's just something so intriguing to me about their names. Dunwoody. They're so crazy.
There might be. I can't come up with anything, but like maybe.
I mean, like Dunwoody's like a Scottish name, and I don't know. But there's somebody important, right? I mean, do they just represent the three? I think they're just sort of like the standard 3 witching women. I don't think they're gods. I think that part right now is pretty clear. But they're knowledgeable. Oh, for sure. So, and you know, how do you get to be? They're just like your voodoo ladies, right? I mean, okay, is what it is. Gotcha. What else I got? How about Spider getting attacked by all the birds in the inside the restaurant? And then they're just like gone, and the restaurant owner's just like, I don't know what happened here. Yeah. It's kind of weird. And like, you didn't come in with a person, but I wouldn't have seated you there if you came in alone, you know? Yeah. So this bird person can take on the form, or at least trick people in the same way that Spider can trick people. And so that's interesting. And so also the fun adventure of them jumping from location to location. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I still don't understand how it works, because Spider didn't know the location of any of those places. He just knew what the photo was. But so Charlie said, so you just need to see a photo of the place? And Spider says, I need to know where it is. Well, you didn't know where any of those were. He says, I think we're in Poland. I think we're in Italy. Like, we are not in Italy. Yeah. So what does that mean? And we know that he was able to travel. Whose porch did he travel to? Well, at some point. Wasn't that Higgler's porch? I thought it was, yeah. So it's Dunwoody he can't go. I think it's Dunwoody, yeah. I don't know. Tell us in the comments. But I think the point is that I don't think Spider really knows how it works. And I don't think he really cares. He just knows it works. It just knows it works, and he does it, yeah. Is it littering if no one's ever going to find it? Yeah. Well, just take your trash with you. What are you doing? Things like that are like if you're trying to hit a word count and I'm writing a book, right? Maybe that's all there is to this. So. I like that that Maeve is on a mission now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, she's going to get her vengeance.
Her beloved Morris is like, it's time to come home, and she's like,
yeah,
I got some stuff to do.
How about like, so she doesn't know she's dead yet, and she's on the phone, and it almost, I think I was doing the audiobook at that point, and it almost sounded like Spider or Anansi or somebody messing with her on the phone whenever she called, and it was like the TV vicar or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, like so maybe that's kind of how Maeve's storyline will tie in. Maybe that was Anansi somehow. That was like the voice on the phone, and he's doing somehow orchestrating.
You know, you've made a connection that with Sandman. No, he's not. Death is a different one. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's the collector, whoever it was that she talked to, because he said, just stay put, you know, we'll come get you, but we're falling behind for the day, so it's going to be a while.
Yeah, there is a collector in Sandman. I can't remember which god it is, but...
Well, and Death was the girl.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Charlie's gel experience was really terrible.
It was... British jail sounds very polite to me. Like all things told. But yeah, that was unfortunate. And he goes down to the door to answer the door, and the cops take him away. And Spider's like, I don't know, he went to answer the door. Could be the cops. I don't have any evidence for that.
Spider's terrible.
Yeah, he's bad. But I mean, like they let him right back out once they decided it wasn't really him. Or is he still in there?
No. He's
out.
Yeah, because he went.
Because he's having lunch
had
with Daisy.
dim sum with Daisy.
Yeah.
Do you know what dim sum is?
Mm-hmm.
Tea and lots of little things to eat, like pot stickers.
We love pot stickers.
Delicious.
Yep.
That's all my notes.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't really have a lot of analysis about this. This is the part of the book that's like the drama, right? Mm-hmm. It's almost like a lot of it was really frustrating because a lot of it's just Spider like bamboozling people, and it's Fat Charlie riding around in a taxi on repeat or whatever.
And he's so...
And then it's Spider trying to take Rosie on a date, but it's really not Rosie, and it's Fat Charlie in the caves, but he can't find anybody to help him. And there was just a lot of... there was a lot of like searching, I suppose, and a lot of like trying to get to progress this thing.
I really love Fat Charlie's attitude about things. I mean, he's just like, ho hum, this isn't going to work. You know? Ho hum might have been in jail for 12 years. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think in our next reading is the last reading. But like so I think we have created all this, like, I'm going to call it anxiety, right? We have created all this problem, and it will come to fruition. And I think that fruition is going to be for Old Man Nancy somehow. Yeah.
So yeah, how do those storylines?
How are they coming back together? Yeah.
Is Anansi alive? Well, and they already told us he might not be in our world, but that doesn't mean anything for the beginning of the world area.
He's dead. Anansi's dead. He's in the same place as Maeve. He hasn't moved on yet.
Ah.
Maeve is going to run into him there. And whatever he's doing, he's organizing all this nonsense. Maybe so that the two boys get back together. Because if they are together as one, then he can come back as them or something like that.
They are
him. Yeah. That's my guess.
My words were not words. They be him. I don't know if they be him.
That's my guess.
Nice. I like that.
That's my guess.
Will Graham Coates come to justice?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. That's the only like loose end. Why are we still following that storyline?
What about Rosie and Mom?
I think they're just kind of incidental. I think they are. Rosie has to exist to be a point of conflict between Spider and Fat Charlie. You know, her mom's a fun character, so
is chaos, and Rosie is depicted as like pure good.
Yeah, that's why I don't like her. She's like, it's not. I wouldn't even call her like pure good. She's like lawful neutral. She is.
But she's very kind and very caring, and
But like, she doesn't really love Fat Charlie. Even before Spider came along, she's just
they were kind
doing
of in a
the
relationship
thing.
of convenience, and and they both acknowledge that in their own part.
Yeah. So that's my prediction. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
What do I win? Nothing. Okay.
I'll let you buy the next book for me.
Ooh. Cool.
Okay. You find out your brother is a god.
Yep.
You excited about it? You scared about it? How you feeling about it?
Definitely excited about it.
Would you ask him to come into your home?
Yes.
Would you go on adventures with him, sing karaoke?
Yes.
Cool.
I would do that with him now, and he's not a god.
If you're watching.
That I know of. Would you not?
I think it'd be so exciting.
Yeah, and I know you would. You have a wizard show up at your house and you don't go? Look, in all honesty, I am quite the homebody. But like, if something on that magnitude happens, you take that call to adventure, right? Like,
yeah.
you know, if you're like, let's go do crimes. No, I'm good. I'm gonna stay here. But if you're like, I'm a god, let's go do crimes.
Now, I will say, when Spider pulled him out of jail, I was like, no! Like, quit making things worse for Charlie.
Yeah.
Because it was just all very bad.
Yeah. Well, you know, like all relationship stories have like they have the relationship and then the breakup and then they get back together. I think what we had was almost like a reverse here between these brothers. You start with the breakup. Mm-hmm. We're going to have the getting together right now. And I think we're going to come back to the breakup.
Mm.
So it's just a reversal of that sort of like archetype.
Interesting.
And maybe they can't be together.
Right.
Maybe that's part of why Miss Dunwoody or whoever sent him away, was that if they are together, that gives Anansi some sort of power. And so by staying apart, it keeps him out of the world or something like that. By having that being split.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, maybe we're missing some Anansi stories.
Yeah, we'll definitely get some more. For sure.
And there was that hint that, like, there's lots of Anansi stories where he doesn't come out on top, but those just aren't the ones that he tells.
Right. Yeah.
If you're enjoying this book, especially like the way the Anansi stories are being told, I really like that narration style. It just really captures my imagination, and I really get wrapped up into it. Mm-hmm. But if you like that, you'll really like Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. Mm-hmm. It's so good. And it's just kind of retellings of the Norse mythology. They're very funny and they're just so good. It's so rich. And he fills in some of the blanks of some things that we're missing and tells a lot of the funny stories.
Do you have that on Kindle?
Yes.
I've never read it. Oh. I'll go read that.
It's good.
Cool.
It's good.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah.
Well, so for next week, what's our reading?
So next week is chapters 11 through the end.
Yep. And keep an eye out, because there is a short. If you, we're going to try out this format. We're going to put out a YouTube short announcing what our next book is. And so that's actually probably already out by the time that you've watched this video. But please go check that out. And
the syllabus will be coming up soon
very
for
soon.
it. So we just want to make sure you have the book and plenty of time to read the first section.
Well, thank you for reading this one with us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yeah, and in case you only watch and you don't listen, we should probably say this at the beginning, but our episodes premiere live 10 a.m. Central on Sundays, and we're always in the chat, chatting with whoever's watching live. So join us.
Yeah, come talk about your favorite parts.
Books you've read.
Half read. I'm not done yet.
2/3 read.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.